Hey guys, this is Sairaj from Metal Wani, and we have with us today frontman Erik Olson of stoner metal band LORD Dying. How are you doing, Erik?
I'm doing all right, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. It's really great to talk to you. Now, let's start with your new album, Poisened Altars, coming out later this month. So, how excited or nervous are you for this album, given that it's your second one after Summon the Faithless?
Yeah, we're really excited for it to come out. Yeah, it'll be out on later this month at the end of the month, and we're going to be touring a lot around it, and we're excited to get out there and play these songs live.
Hmm. Sweet, sweet. I'm guessing that you would have already got some reviews of the album. I checked out your Facebook page and saw some reviews. So, how has the response been from the critics?
So far, the response has been really good, man. Nothing but positive reviews so far. Hopefully, that trend continues.
I know, because critics are kind of like a hard bunch to please, and there are so many metal bands out there. So I think you really got that going for you. Am I right in saying that?
Great, thanks, man.
Hmm. Yeah, and I've got to tell you, I gave Poisoned Altars a listen, and my perception was that it had a lot of the thrash metal sound added to your sound that I heard in your previous album, Summon the Faithless. So I think there was this sort of musical difference. So would I be right in saying that?
Yeah, I think so. We definitely try and expand our sound from anytime we write new music. I think with this album, we definitely try to do something more aggressive and cohesive than we did on the last album. And there's definitely a lot of thrash elements and maybe even some death metal elements as well.
I know. And, yeah, given that this is your second album, I mean, with the first album, you made the first impression. And I think with the second album, you're really looking to show that you can expand your sound and that you won't sound the same. Am I right?
Yeah, I'd say that's correct.
Cool, cool, cool. So, let's talk about the lyrics also as well. I think I found that, your lyrics kind of have criticisms against religion. So, can you give us any of the lyrical aspects of the album that you explored?
Yeah, I mean, like with some of the Faithless, lyrically, there will always be something I think existing in my lyrics. That's very anti-organized religion. I kind of grew up in Salt Lake City around the LDS Church and they tried to force their beliefs on a lot of the people there, and
Mm.
that I'm really not that really bothered me, and uh, made me hate organized religion. That's really what Lord Dying means in the first place is
Mm.
calling for an end of organized religion, but also lyrically on Poisoned Altars, there was a lot of personal lyrics too, as well. It's kind of dealing with depression and addiction, and hoping to be able to face your problems and overcome that.
Mm. I know, and I've got to tell you something. I can really relate to that because I am a Hindu myself by religion, and even we've got all these restrictions on us. Not only in terms of homosexuality or sexuality and all that, but even the people we can hang out with. Like for example, did you know that public display of affection is looked as bad in India?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. That's yeah. I'm sure you can relate.
I know. There's a lot of fucked up stuff right here, which is why I think I've got to tell you something. Us Indian metalheads kind of gravitate towards music like yours because of this, because we feel the same thing you feel, man. I'll really tell you truthfully.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And how is the songwriting process normally for you guys? Because I noticed that you and Chris have this amazing chemistry when it comes to the riffs that you make. So, what's the songwriting process like?
Yeah, actually, that's how it all starts. It starts with either me or Chris writing some riffs, and then we show them to each other. Then
Mhm.
generally we'll jam on those riffs for a while, and then kind of form a song structure out of it, and keep what we like. And then when we have a solid song structure down, we'll usually show the drummer, and then go from there. And then usually lyrics and vocals come after that.
Mm. That sounds really cool, really cool. Now let's get back to your previous answer, what you mentioned about growing up in Salt Lake City. Now I've noticed that with some bands, the places which they grew up in it really affects the music they make when they grow up. It's like those bands in New Orleans. So, well, would you say that the atmosphere of Oregon really affected you guys and your music?
Oh, definitely, man. Yeah, especially like growing up there, not being Mormon, you feel like they're very they're very tight knit group, you know, and
Mm.
they like to try and force their views on you and outcast you when you're not a part of it. And I think that that definitely had a lot to do with my upbringing and my attitude towards music and aggression and liking aggressive music, you know.
Yeah, and I've got to ask, what's the metal scene like in Oregon? Are there a lot of metal bands over there that are feeling the same way you feel and playing the way you play?
Yeah, I think so. There's a great heavy music scene here for sure. It's pretty tight knit community of musicians that play a lot of shows together, and a lot of these bands tour and write great records and consistently put them out. And yeah, it's pretty great living in Portland, I think.
Yeah, great. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Now, getting back to the album, the production was done by Joel Grind of Toxic Holocaust, if I'm not wrong. So, how was the experience working with Joel for this second album? How do you feel that he improved your sound?
Oh, it was great working with Joel. He's been kind of a longtime fan of Lord Dying, and I've been a fan of Toxic Holocaust for a long time. Really like the production that he got on the last two Toxic Holocaust records, and when we were talking about recording this, he offered to do it, and I feel like he always makes his record sound really huge, so we wanted to work with
True,
him, and I think that he definitely achieved that.
true, true, true. I've always felt the same way about Toxic Holocaust. And when I heard that Grind was going to produce an album, I was really excited, whether he would bring those aspects of Toxic Holocaust into your album. So it sounds like it worked really well for you guys.
Great, yeah, thanks.
Great, great. Now, let's talk about another aspect of the band. Your new drummer, Rob Schaefer, who recently joined the band. So, has he made any difference in the sound of your band as well? His drumming?
Well, to be honest, actually, all the songs were written before he joined the band, but he did change a little bit of the drum parts from what John Reed was playing.
Mm,
But yeah, I mean, I think that it definitely changed a bit when he joined. He's traditionally like a guitar player, so paid really close attention to what the riffs were doing, you know, rather than
mm.
worrying more about like doing flashy rhythmic stuff. He he paid great detail to the riffs. So I think that came through on this record.
That sounds really good. So I think that Rob Schaefer was a natural fit to your band. I think because some band members they have trouble adjusting to new members. So did that happen in any way with Rob, or was it a natural fit?
Oh yeah, no, it was really natural. Rob was great to work with. He got the material really fast, and we meshed really well with him.
Great. That sounds great to hear. Now, I've got to ask you this one question. While listening to your music, I checked out the music video of Dreams of Mercy from your previous album, Summoning the Faithless, and it is just freaky, and I loved it. So, is there any music video coming out from any of the new tracks from Poisoned Altars?
Yeah, there will be a music video for the title track for Poisoned Altars, the song. That'll be that's supposed to be released right after the record comes out.
Great, great, great. Because I've got to tell you one thing. If it has some of the stuff from Dreams of Mercy, a lot of people are going to be really satisfied. I'll tell you that.
Awesome.
Okay, so now let's talk about a little bit of your touring. So you've toured and played with a lot of cool bands last year, and you're starting a tour with Anvil very soon. So are there any other bands you're looking forward to touring with? Some big bands or smaller bands that you're looking forward to playing with?
Well, right now, it's we're in the process of booking some other tours. I hope those come together. Unfortunately, I can't really divulge what those bands are because it hasn't been confirmed yet. But
Mm.
we look forward to we definitely are looking forward to 2015 and hoping to get out and tour as much as possible.
Cool, cool. But suppose you had a wish list of sorts, a wish list of bands that you would love to tour with at any point in the future. What would that wish list be?
Um, I'd love to tour with Asphyx, Morbid Angel, High on Fire. I don't know. There's lots of bands. As far as like newer bands, I like Windhand. That would be cool to tour with them. Um, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, let's see. Maybe I like Morgoth a lot. That would be a cool band to tour with.
Hmm. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Because yeah, you and High on Fire especially sound like a natural fit. I would love to see that sometime. Let's hope that happens at some point in the future.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, now you've toured the U.S. and you've toured Europe as well. So do you have any plans of touring in other countries, or maybe a possible gig in India as well? Because younger bands have come to our country before, so maybe that's in the cards.
That would be great. I'm not sure if yeah, I mean, we would definitely love to do that. We'll look into it. I would love to go there. That would be great.
Yeah, yeah, because there is this sort of myth, I would call it. There's a sort of myth going around that the bands themselves choose where they want to go and where they want to tour, and wherever they want to go, they get to go. Now, what is your opinion on this? Do you want to set the record straight on this?
Um, yeah, well, I mean, we like to go wherever we can. It just kind of depends on the demand. If it if it isn't financially, if it can be worked out, we'll do it. I mean, if it depends on how much plane tickets are and how much what kind of guarantees we can get from promoters. But
Hmm.
yeah, generally we'll do it if we can afford it.
All right, great, great. And given that you guys have just started out, what is the financial situation like when you're touring, or when most younger bands are touring? Do you manage to break even, or is there a profit or loss kind of thing? So what's the scene there?
It kind of depends on where we're touring. We we do okay. We're doing. It's getting easier than it used to be.
Hmm.
Um, in America, we probably do the best, mainly just because we don't have to pay for we don't have to pay for plane tickets. But
Hmm.
Europe was really good when we went there, but plane tickets are so much. We pretty much broke even when we did that.
Yeah, but I think the experience was what made it all worth it. I think you satisfied a lot of fans in Europe. Am I correct?
Yeah, yeah, that was great. That was really fun.
Cool, cool, cool. And let's talk about one more thing. Given the state of the music industry today, how the music industry is, especially in heavy metal, what kind of future do you actually see for Lord Dying, at least now?
Well, we're definitely going to continue to do it and work as hard as we've been doing. We're constantly trying to expand our sound. We're hoping to do even more to break out of any sort of box we've been put into on the next album.
Hmm.
We're hoping to and just keep touring and build up our fan base. And hopefully, I think the future looks good. It's going to be a lot of hard work, but this is what we love to do, so we're going to be there doing it.
Cool. That sounds really positive. I'm glad to hear that. And speaking of the what you just said about being fit into boxes, wow, what do you think about the term itself? Stoner metal, which some people seem to call you. I think that's what I even called you. So, what do you think of that term being associated with your music?
It's I realize that a lot of there's so many different kinds of metal out there that people like to put genre classifications on different bands. Um, but and I guess that could make sense for what they're doing at that specific time. But I think a lot of at least and especially with our band, we're trying to to change what we sound like. And I hope with every release, it might be a little different, as we evolve as a band,
Mm,
as a lot of other bands have done. Some bands will start out. There's bands that have started out as death metal and then turn into something like a prog band, like Opeth, or I don't know.
true.
That's just an example that comes to mind, but. As the band evolves over time, I think that it'll change, and then those labels will probably change too.
Yeah, yeah, because I myself own copies of Metal Hammer, and I remember seeing an ad for Summoning the Faithless somewhere in the pages, and the classifications were crazy, and they were like stoner, groove, rock, metal, something like that. It just went all over my head, and so that was what made me really laugh, actually.
Awesome.
All right, great, great, great. Thanks a lot for talking to us, Eric. And I really hope we see you in India sometime. At least I hope to see you in India sometime, man. I'm serious about that.
Awesome. Yeah, I hope we get to go there. It's been good to talk to you.
Great, great. You have a good day then.
You too.
All right, see you.